Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Triforce podcast.
Hi, everybody. We're back.
My best friends, Sips,
Hey.
and Ted, Edward. Here, in fact. Hey, Ted.
Oh, I'm good.
Hey,
Hello.
Hey, Ted. How are you?
Hey, Lewis.
Hey,
I'm good.
how's
Hey, Chris.
everyone-
How are you,
Hey, Ted.
Chris?
How's everyone feeling?
Hey, Ted.
Yeah, no,
Met
I'm
a lovely tiny penis haver yesterday.
Nice.
Did you?
He was so polite. He was so lovely and nice. He was like, "Oh, I've come all the way from New Zealand, and I was hoping to see you." I don't think he was coming to Britain just to see us. Of course, he had a holiday here, but he was like so pleased to have bumped into me outside the office. I wonder whether I need to just like have a dedicated time when I go out and hang outside, because Tom and Harry are smoking outside the office all the time, right? So anyone who wants to meet them pretty much can just
They know where to find them. Yeah.
But I just don't want to leave people disappointed. So I was just thinking, maybe I get a deck chair. I go out there and read for a bit for an hour every week.
Yeah.
And that'll cover all of the visiting tiny penis havers.
I don't know if there's enough to warrant that much planning and effort.
No, it happens. It happens so
happens like
rarely
once a year.
that I could be. It reminds me that I still got it.
You still got it. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah,
Still got it,
You're
baby.
tempted. You're tempted to provide a very elaborate solution for something that doesn't really need any. It doesn't need solving.
It's true. I suppose that let's just take that a step further. I announced that I'm hanging around outside the office for an hour every week, and then no one comes ever.
Yeah, just be more general. Just say you're in Bristol sometimes, and and then people can look for you there, which I think they already do, kind of.
I do get a lot of
most
emails
recent
saying
tiny
that,
penis haver. Yeah,
You got a lot of emails about it, really.
Yeah, I get emails saying I'm coming to Bristol, hoping to bump into one of the yachts. And Bristol's one of the major cities of the UK, I suppose. You'd put London, Manchester, Liverpool, Newcastle, Glasgow, Edinburgh, and I'm going to put Bristol in there, and Leeds, places like that. People come to the UK.
Does Bristol really get mentioned alongside those big cities?
Should do. It's a big city.
Okay,
It
should
should
do.
do.
It's
Great
slightly
city.
different to does or does not, right? I think there's a lot of maybe social conditioning that needs to happen before we get to the point where Bristol's being mentioned.
Well, I think Bristol is in that
greats.
second tier, right?
Yeah.
It's
I forgot Birmingham. Sorry, Birmingham.
You got your Birminghams, your Manchesters.
Bristol is 8th by population.
Right.
So it goes London 8.3 million. Birmingham
next.
2.3, Manchester
Then
1.7,
Manchester.
Liverpool 800,000, Leeds 750, Sheffield 500,000, Teesside, which is Middlesbrough, etc., 480, Bristol 428,000, and then
Bournemouth.
Yeah, Bournemouth and Poole.
But I think there's actually 1 million in the total Bristol metropolitan area, and I'm sure that the same with.
It's indeed for the metropolitan area. It's
I think there's a lot more generally, but that doesn't count. They don't count.
That's larger urban zone, which is the bit sort of around the outside of it, if you like. London is up to 12.2 from that, but yeah.
I was I keep thinking about the. We're recording this after the Pope has died,
Pope's
guys,
dead.
which has been going on for a while. Yeah, sorry to let you break it to this way.
Why didn't they tell me?
There was this. I was laughing because
the Pope died.
I saw the JD Vance visiting him.
Yeah,
he's Liz Truss all over again, dude.
And it was like a Make-A-Wish kid. The worst Make-A-Wish ever. I don't know. Like I watched Conclave again with my partner just to get into it. I said they're really keen to watch the two popes. So I don't know. It's just a little bit of Pope Week here.
Pope
Week at Shea Brindley.
You're going full Pope.
Yeah, I got my little hat. We got our little. We got a child to abuse.
Jesus Christ.
I'm just trying to think of ways to celebrate the Catholic Church.
I guess you, I don't know. What do Catholics do?
You guys should do a bake
Confess.
sale. A craft fair.
Tombola.
Yeah.
Wear lots of denim. Get
How many beans
your partner
in the jar?
a long denim ankle skirt, and
Hassock.
you can
Well, I've been playing a few games.
Oh, we're not going to talk about games, are we?
I know we're not supposed to talk about games on this gaming podcast.
It's not a gaming podcast.
But I shout out to Blueprints because it's been out for release. And honestly, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Have you had a go yet, Sips?
No, I haven't gotten around to playing the full version, but I did really enjoy my time playing the demo.
The demo, yes.
A couple of months ago. And I was looking forward to the full release. I just there's lots to play, and then there's nothing to play at the same time.
There's the Oblivion remaster, which everyone is desperate for you to play, Sips.
Right. Okay.
They want to see the new good adventures of Sips in old school Oblivion, I think. Right. Have you played Oblivion before?
Yes, I played it, a long time ago, yeah. I don't remember much of it, but...
Well, exactly, I don't remember any of it.
Yeah.
But I saw a comment from someone at Blizzard today which said, it can't hold up in the days of modern gaming. And I'm like, how out of touch are you with the world?
Like remastered like all of their games already.
We're playing Supermarket Simulator as well.
Yeah.
Like we don't need like
I am looking on Steam right now. I'm looking at a game called Laundry Store Simulator. And I am enticed. So
I was thinking of
what does this say about me? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, exactly. It's we just want to have be a regular Joe Schmo out there, regular chump running a grocery store. Earning a living the real way, because we've never done it.
Yeah,
we've never had to earn a living, by just working for it.
God, there's lots of these games now. Greengrocer Simulator 2024 seems like a really good one. Like the laundry one. Supermarket Simulator. We played a bunch of Supermarket Together, which is just basically Supermarket Simulator but multiplayer, which is really fun. Tobacco Shop Simulator.
Farm Sim with you.
Yeah. We just started a Planet Crafter yesterday. None of them had played Planet Crafter, so I'm
a great game.
Yeah, they love it, which is great. I was hoping that they would, and they do. So
it's quite self-contained as well. Like it feels like it's like a good like 10-hour experience.
It's a really satisfying numbers go up game, isn't it?
Yeah, nice path to finishing it. Not too vague of a goal. Like with something like Minecraft, and some of our friends always throw up a Minecraft server every now and then and get into it for a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
and it's fairly goalless. I feel like you have to decide what you're going to do, and sometimes that is innately unsatisfying. Because it sort of tails off as well. When you don't set a point where you're ending, people just slowly drop out, and that's not why you were started in the first place, right? You started to play with a specific group of friends, but people have been loving games lately. What are you playing, P Flax?
He's playing Hardware Store Simulator. No, wait.
Are you?
He's been enjoying a game called I'm just browsing through queues. I was hoping to find another simulator, but it's throwing me up all sorts now.
Oh, I thought you were loading up his Steam profile. Football Manager.
Football
currently
Manager.
in game.
Yeah,
I saw Flax playing Football Manager.
1006 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. And also you played some Mechabellum.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. It's the year 2050. Oh, no, 2049, sorry, in my Football Manager save.
Right.
And I've had a fascinating career that I've been, for the last month, I've been playing Football Manager on stream and watching Gordon Ramsay and watching whatever else. Because when it processes, it's just a bit boring, isn't it? So I stick something else on. We watch YouTube videos.
Do you watch the whole game? Like when you do a game? Like do you watch the
I don't
match?
watch the whole game. It's highlights. Because the whole game is too bloody much. Like I would still be.
A lot, yeah.
God knows where I'd be if I was doing that. But yeah, it's just the highlights and make adjustments as I need to.
Nice.
And we've won a lot. I started off in Notts County, got fired by them, went to SC Ashdod in the Israeli Premier League because I needed a job, and I rescued them from relegation.
Very
and then
nice.
The next season, I won a cup with them, and everything was going great. And in the close season, I said to the board, "Hey, can I have £5,000 to sign a player?" And they said, "Absolutely not." And I said, "Well, I think it's going to be you either give me that or I'm off." And they said, "Well, fuck you, leave then." I said, "Bye." And I left. And then they immediately signed that player for £5,000 with their new manager. So I felt a little bit betrayed. And then I traveled all over the place. And then I finally settled at Spurs because I wanted to get into the Premier League. And bam, we've been winning it all.
Wow.
Nice.
Back to where you came, back to London.
Yeah.
Where you came from.
Yeah.
Rip.
So yeah, been
it's a fun game, Football Manager. I had a lot of a lot of fun playing it. It's very satisfying when stuff works. You know, you start winning like awards and stuff like that. It's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're not winning things, very sad. It makes me very sad. But
yeah.
It's one of those games that occasionally nothing works. There's a lot of bullshit in Football Manager.
Sure.
Having to talk to your players. So I was talking to chat about this. I'm pretty sure that the lad that coded, or perhaps Miles Jacobson, the head of SI Games who make Football Manager, I think, and I say this as someone with an autistic child, I think he may be autistic.
Right.
And I think he was the one who came up with and designed the player interactions.
Right.
I'll give you an example. A player comes to you and says, I'm not playing enough games. I want to play more games. You can't say to them, can you just have some patience? It's a long season. You have to say to them things like, the best result you can get here is to say, oh, I better sell you then. And then they'll say, oh, no, don't sell me. I'll shut up. But if you try to actually negotiate with them, they get all pissy. And the funniest thing is sometimes you can go to them and praise them on their training. And you can say, you've been training really well. And it offers you 4 options. You can no gesture whatsoever. You can shake their hand. You can put your hand on their shoulder, or you can put an arm around them. And each of these decisions changes very subtly how they respond. But sometimes
what the heck?
Hand on shoulder and shake hand have like different effects. And sometimes you'll say to them, I think you've been training really well. And they'll say, I disagree. And you're like, okay. And they say, well, this hasn't gone well at all. And at the end of the conversation, the summary has lost respect for you, or they're like, I'm not pleased with the way you've handled this.
What the fuck is this? Was this Mass Effect level shit?
It's bonkers, dude.
Steven Gerrard didn't like that.
Literally.
You can like rent out your players to other teams, though, right? Wouldn't they get playtime that way?
Yeah, you can loan. Yeah. So that's one of the options is you can loan them out. But a lot of the time,
Wayne Rooney has asked you out on a date.
It's literally the player interactions are so badly coded. It's so randomly sort of done, and how they respond to things.
It obviously is a new feature that they've got. And again, you understand that these things are like so quickly made. You know, the poor team at Sports Interactive have these deadlines to like hit for the next one, and they're all worked to the grindstone. You can tell
they are fucked. They were meant to release a game last year.
Yeah, we talked about them, I think, before.
They're fucked anyway. So I've been playing that and chilling.
So is that not so? Is there not another one coming out ever now, or has it just been delayed?
Apparently there is. They'll
get there. I mean, they're owned by Sega, so they'll crack the whip, and it's only a matter of time, right?
It's on a new engine, though. I mean, it's going to be a disaster. I really think that it's going to be a disaster. I'm very worried. Because this is my favorite game series ever. There's been way better. I've had way more fun with FM than I have with like multiple Civ games. I've just been disappointed.
Well, this is it. Yeah, like I think it's one of those games that actually has this huge following for so long as well, and definitely more grown-up gamers too, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I've been playing this game for 30 years in various incarnations.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think the first time I played it was around my friend's house when I was about 10.
It's crazy.
Are you still playing Dota, Flax? Just like off and on?
I played last night. New games kept coming out, and the lads I play with, Joe and those boys are the lads I like to play with, and people like Paul and so on. Dav, Oblivion came out. This new Oblivion remastered thing.
So they've all been doing that. And half of them
were like, just going to go play that. And before that, it was some Monster Hunter thing. And before that, it was something else. And Xylus constantly disappears to go play Path of Exile. So sometimes it's hard to get a stack. People are taking a break or whatever. And look, I play with viewers quite often. I used to morning stacks. I'd boot up, get lads in for the morning stacks, and we'd play some Dotes. And I don't mean any hate to the lads here, because I don't mind if they're bad at Dotes. I'm bad at
God, prepare yourself, lads.
No. I'm just saying.
He's about to throw you onto that bus
No, I'm not going to throw them under the bus.
House.
I'm not. I'm just going to say that one of the issues with playing with just subscribers and viewers and stuff is that a lot of them are just quiet people because, they're like me. They're nerds. So I get on the stream, I've got a stack of 5 people and no one's talking. And there's no sort of bants, or it just becomes like solo Dota because everyone's so quiet, or they talk too much and it's like, geez, this guy needs to shut up. So sometimes people on stream get a bit sort of nervous, or they're just like very, very, they just out of habit, they just chat because I don't know them. I can't say like, dude, can you shut up?
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes we'll play with Paul and Paul's just going blah, 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 blah. And we're like, Paul, can you take a break, please, from yapping? So yeah, I just think it's kind of it's tough to play with
I deal
viewers.
with this stuff sometimes, and it makes me feel awful. Like for example, sometimes we record some Blood on the Clock Tower or whatever, like we were doing yesterday, and I just needed everyone to shut up.
Right.
And I'm there like yelling like, shut the fuck up, like silence, like stop talking, like really, like almost getting angry.
You will be quiet right now,
because otherwise they're going to spoil the game. And it's like I'm like,
have you ever
I'm
just tried
stop.
shush? Have you ever tried
shush, stop? Like, but the thing is, because they're all passionate, right, and arguing, they're like mid flow, and they're all into the game as well. Like, and that's what we want, right? We want to create this game for them. But I'm also doing this thing where like, I want them to showboat as well up to a point. But like, for example, if someone's, because sometimes at the end of the game, Blood on the Clock Tower, you don't know whether you've won or lost, right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's better for that reveal to come dramatically from me,
right,
rather than
people
sort of someone
yelling.
just being like, just someone upsetedly saying, well, I've lost. You know what I mean? I'm doing a little spoiler, right, for everyone. So it's more gripping if I can do it. And so sometimes I really have to like, stop, shit. And the thing is, I found myself becoming less and less like tolerant. I guess I could be more chill and not care and let it just play out. And there's ways around it. But I think but every time after the recording, even today, like we recorded yesterday, and even today, I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I feel so bad at yelling at everyone to shut up. But there's kind of a meme around me telling people to shut up, right, in these recordings. And it's because I've spoken about this before, but I feel like I have to be there as a director, right? In TV and movies, you have a director who comes in and is the Gordon Ramsay and is shouting at people to stop doing something or to do something, just to actually make sure the whole thing comes together as a complete product and isn't just a haphazard, random goofing around. And I think we don't have anyone else who does that. It's just me and the 7 guys that we're playing with, and Nick. And Nick's not there to direct it. He's there to run the server and make people visible and do all that crap. So I'm there sort of having to make these. I don't know. It's sometimes hard to get that right in your head. It's the same thing on this podcast sometimes. So just one of us will be like, maybe we should make that joke, or maybe we should cut that bit. Very little that happens, but it's hard to have fun and chill at the same time as make something a series cool.
Yeah.
And it always leaves me like,
I just feel like there is a difference between just hanging out and playing games with your mates and trying to make content.
Yeah.
Like streaming or videos or anything, it is fundamentally different. And I think some people think that when we're streaming or we're recording stuff, that it's just everybody is just goofing around and it just happens to be a good vid. But it's not. You need direction and you need the right people and good combinations of people for it to be fun to watch and entertaining. And I mean, I stream for when I'm in the zone, I'll stream for hours and hours and hours a day and just chill out. But it's good to have fun people and people that are sort of good to play with. They're fun to play with. They're chatty. I've played with them for years. I know them, etc. And playing with strangers is tough. Just like if we did a Blood on the Clock Tower recording where none of us had ever met before, that would be really hard to do.
It would be really awkward.
Yeah.
And
so I
think
feel like maybe people don't understand that side of it.
I think when people have put a lot of time, as well, it's people's job, it's people's time. People are coming along to do these recordings, and they we want to get videos out of it. We've got 8 people together or whatever. It is a faff, and I think it's not that it's not close to playing games with your friends. It is. And streaming even closer. I think streaming is you're doing it for a long time. You can't be hyper excitable and full of energy, and it's not like we're faking it either. No. It's more that when you're playing stuff on your own, I will sometimes sit there in silence for half an hour with 4 friends. None of us will say anything for 15 minutes. And I think when you're streaming or something, you're doing a little bit more. It's not like you're doing like the same. You're a little bit more than you would be if you weren't streaming, right?
Yeah.
I think you're the same, Sips. Like you will have I've seen moments in your streams where you don't say anything for 5 minutes, but I think that's usually it's usually something interesting's going on, and you know in the back of your mind that you're doing it on purpose or something, right?
Maybe sometimes. Sometimes I just forget that I'm streaming, and I will just not say anything and just be playing. I get pretty immersed, like, but I like it though. I mean, I still really like playing games.
You stream in your garage usually, and that's kind of a work area. You know, you're almost like a slightly exaggerated person when you're in that area. We talk about this all the time. We can't help it. Sorry.
No.
It just goes to the front of my mind, and I know it's like
it's a big part of our lives.
It's funny what my anxieties are, because I'll say to someone afterwards like, oh, sorry about this, and they'll be like, oh well, you should be sorry about this. I'll be like, oh fuck yeah, that's actually a good point.
Yeah.
When I was like, something else like that I'd done that I'd forgotten about, that I just charged through and didn't care about. I'm worried about the thing that I remember, and I'm paranoid that people are hating me for it. In fact, they're hating me for something entirely different.
I just hate you.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I think it's like you can look into it too much too. I think ultimately, like if you were just sitting around playing a game with your friends, like we were talking about, you wouldn't be as aware of all those things. You know what I mean? You would just be like you would just act the way you always act, and the people you play with would just act the way that they always act, and then you're pretty much getting the same sort of experience, right? And then people have bad days and whatnot like that. That of course happens too, but I don't know. I don't think you need to be over. I don't think you need to like analyze it to death. I don't think you really need to apologize too much for just being yourself, unless you're being racist or something,
I do think this happens to some extent in my real life too, right? Where
you're racist.
I play like board games with Russ or whatever.
You just can't stop being racist. I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
And he is...
Wait, Russ. Not racist Russ.
No, a lovely Russ.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Russ. I'm just fucking with you, but don't know
he's awesome. And I think sometimes he must think I'm some sort of dual personality, right? Because when it's just like me and him, I'm like super chill, super relaxed, like kind of a bit grumpy almost. And I'll he's like quite a close friend of mine, so I'll tell him stuff that I'll complain to him, right?
As soon as the lights and the cameras are around, all of a sudden, Mr. Razzle Dazzle appears.
Exactly. Like, as soon as there's someone new that we haven't met before, I'm all like making jokes. I'm all interesting. It's just become like some sort of...
It's Mr. Razzle Dazzle! Mr. Razzle Dazzle's entered the building!
I think we all do this to some extent, right? It's not just me being crazy, thinking I have a split personality.
Here's what I think it is that the job, and this is obviously our job, this is not our job, but our living, certainly, is, people are aware, I think, of the whole parasocial thing that comes from streaming and content creation. Because if you go to a movie, someone's playing a character, or if you watch a TV show, someone's playing a character, and you can be a fan of those things, but there's the disconnect is you're just seeing those people on a screen and it's all rehearsed and blah, blah, blah. But when you watch like streamers and YouTubers like us, we're sort of at work, even though it seems like we're just having a laugh. We are all understand what we're creating something that has to be a certain way, and we know what works, we know what doesn't, and it's kind of a different mindset to I think when it comes to consuming that content, people sometimes get their brain gets tricked into thinking that we're mates with them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the whole parasocial thing is they expect us to be that person all the time, and they sort of it's just weird. It's a much more intimate relationship with your audience than I think pretty much anything else you could do.
Yeah.
Stand-up comedians are up on a stage. The audience is down in the dark. TV, movies, you never see them. Theater, again, you're up on a stage. They're down in the dark. But when you are a streamer or something, you're actually interacting with your viewers. Like they're talking to you in real time, and you have to cope with that. So I just feel like when it comes to the job that we do, I don't think sometimes the audience thinks it's like, for instance, like me just saying that playing games with my viewers is kind of difficult sometimes. They might think of that as an insult. And I hope they don't take it that way. What I'm saying is that it just makes the stream shitter. if the people that I'm playing with are just quiet.
Yeah.
Or have a terrible microphone.
I think it's a weird balance, isn't it? I think when you play with people regularly, like we do a podcast regularly, or if you play games with people regularly, you get into this nice kind of groove with it where I feel like the more you know somebody and the more you do stuff with somebody, you give them space to do their thing, and likewise they give you space to do your thing. Like, certain people will want to do like, one certain mechanic of a game or whatever, but everybody knows that that's their thing and they just leave them to it, sort of thing, and it's like it's nice to get to that point. And I think it takes a while to get to that point, I think.
I mean, that's like I've always had like groups of people that I think, okay, this lad's actually good to play games with on stream.
Yeah,
because he's a laugh. He's got a sense of humor. He doesn't just talk constantly. He's not just someone who never speaks. Has a working microphone, which is quite a big thing. Like, because some people come on, they're like, you're like, sorry, what was that?
Yeah,
and there's like just a hiss in the background, or that this guy's computer crashes every game at least once. I get it. It's frustrating for me, but it's also frustrating for someone watching it. They're going to be like, this sucks. I find this person annoying. So it is tough to play Dota if you haven't got that sort of hand-picked stack, and I'm sure it's true for any game. Like when I play Tarkov, sometimes when we play in a stack with like viewers, and we get in the Discord and everything, but some of them would be like, yeah, I'll be there in a sec, I've just got to sort this bit out, and you waiting for like 20 minutes to start queuing for a raid because they've got to buy this armor, and they've got to buy this ammo, and you're like, dude, can you not just grab anything? Like, you know what I mean? They're just sort of not ready.
You can play the PvE one is like instant queues though.
Dude, that's what I've been playing. I played that for like 2 months.
This is how I got you two involved in the first place, really, because I met you or knew you or spoke to you in some way, and I was like, these are interesting, funny people that I like hanging out with and I want to be friends with.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Friends.
When are we going to be friends, do you think?
Yeah.
When are we going to?
We're still waiting.
I'm not having a crisis or anything of who I am, right?
What a start to a sentence. I'm not having a crisis.
At least I don't think I am. There's this famous quotation, which is very bogus, from someone I can't remember, who said, you are a combination of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right?
Huh.
It's a popular saying, sort of implying that when you think about it, obviously, maybe it was true once. I think these days you are, and we know that we are influenced by all sorts of people. I'm influenced by some of the people I admire from real life or from the internet. I'm sure I'm a blend of the YouTubers I watch the most and some of these people I'm a big fan of, and some people I admire, and also the people who and because we can't help it, right? We want to blend in. That's how accents got started. That's why people unconsciously mimic the way other people laugh and talk and act, and you can't control it. It's part of your animal brain to fit in, right? And want to be part of something. And the easiest way to show that you like someone is to mimic what they're doing, in a sense. It's a classic thing. And we are all chameleons, effectively able to try and, when you go to a job interview, you're going to be polite. When you're going to, something else, you're going to behave a certain way. You can't help it, right? And that doesn't mean you're being fake or you're having some sort of you're lying about who you are. You maybe think, well, I'm secretly a grumpy, miserable bitch, but I can pretend to be a happy person. I think there's, in some ways, the mask you wear, if you wear that, a lot, you become that person. I think looking back at old YouTube videos, me, like with a strong Essex accent, I don't know when I lost it. I didn't try it. There was never a moment where I thought I need to train out this accent or it just happened, right? I obviously subconsciously spent time around people who didn't speak that way.
Yeah, me too. I'm not even Canadian, so Just comes out.
Where'd you pick it up from? Was it Jean-Guy Tupperware? You pick it up from
Jean-Guy
Tupperware.
Well, actually, my biggest influence recently has been the far right. I'm like right in the pipeline, and with the Canadians, Albertans specifically, and that's where I picked up a lot of my Canadian things.
You do say a few words differently, and I think Canadians would probably notice that your way of speaking has changed. Certainly,
probably
certain words. I've noticed a few as well,
yeah.
And I think you can't help it when your whole family speaks with an accent that's different.
I don't say
you.
tabernacle like ever anymore, and I used to say it like all the flipping time. So
you used to say Tim Hortons.
Yeah, I used to say Tim Hortons a lot.
Coffee shop. Yeah. I used to say poutine.
I think your accent is pretty damn Canadian. I'll be honest with you. It's impressive.
Yeah,
because I know a lot of people who've lost their accent
completely. Yeah, quicker. I mean, I've lived here for like 22 years. It's been a long time, but I don't think I've lost it much. It's probably more like words and terms and stuff that have changed, but
right.
I think it softens around other people, though. I think when I've met you in real life and you've been at the shops or whatever, interacting with Jersey folks, you've been more automatically. I don't think you even noticed like more Jersey, English.
You got to make yourself understood, though. If you're too like I've just stepped out of the woods, then people just treat you differently. You got to fit in a little.
That's true. You have to. You are a native now. You've gone native. Yeah. So you have to.
I'm fully native.
How did you choose which internet service provider to use? Sad thing is, most of us have very little choice because ISPs operate like monopolies in the regions they serve. They then use this monopoly power to take advantage of customers, data caps, bandwidth throttling, the list goes on. But worst of all, ISPs have the ability to keep a log of every website you visit, and so can a ton of other third parties, unless you use our sponsor for today's episode, ExpressVPN.
Did you know that without ExpressVPN, third parties can still see every website that you visit, even in incognito mode? That includes your ISP, your mobile network provider, admins on your Wi-Fi network at your school, or if you have a dad at home who has his own big network and like a NAS and everything, he can see your browsing history as well, even if you use incognito mode. ExpressVPN reroutes 100% of your traffic through secure encrypted servers, so third parties like your dad can't see your browsing history. It can hide your IP address, making it extremely difficult for third parties to track your online activity. It works on all devices, phones, laptops, tablets, and more, so you can stay private on the go. And just in case you needed more convincing, it's rated #1 by top tech reviewers like CNET and The Verge.
I use ExpressVPN. I know you guys do as well. It's easy, very easy to use, and I often just even forget it's on in the background. You can protect your online privacy today by visiting expressvpn.com/Triforce. That's expressvpn.com/Triforce, and you can get an extra 4 months for free. expressvpn.com/Triforce.
On with the show.
On with the show.
Can I ask you a question, Chris?
Yeah.
Did you make up Jean-Guy Tupperware as a name, or is it like a Canadian thing?
It's like a pretty Canadian thing as far as I know. Or maybe
when I Googled Jean-Guy Tupperware...
You can't find it anywhere? Well, maybe it was just like a local thing. I don't know. I remember we used to use it a lot. We used to say it all the time. Like anytime anything came up, if you were like mad about like somebody and they happen to be French Canadian, it'd be like, yeah, and then fucking Jean-Guy Tupperware comes out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like it was just kind of used like that, but it was used often enough. I mean,
if you Google it, it only comes up in relation to the Triforce. Like you saying it on a podcast. So I guess for some reason it hasn't made it onto the wider web.
I mean, maybe it's just like maybe it was just a local thing, Maybe it was just
might have been.
Yeah,
I just fucking love it.
Another thing
much.
that we used to say a lot, which I've never heard anyone say before, is back in the 90s, we used to say that the same way you would use like the hard R to describe somebody or to show some animosity towards somebody or whatever. We used to call people rehabs all the time as well. Like be like, you're a fucking rehab. But like it makes no sense. It's like it's the dumbest thing. But I know like tons of people that used to say that. I
like that. I like that as like an insult. That sounds like something I would call Jared Leto.
I don't know. It just sounded funny, and I think that's why people picked it up and started using it. But it makes no sense. But I remember lots of people saying it, you know, like in just conversation. You'd meet somebody outside of your friends group, like at the bus stop or something, and you'd be like, oh yeah, fucking rehab, you know, like it was just it's just a weird thing. But I remember it being
just a
used
dumb
commonly.
joke for your group. Well, that's how language gets started, right?
I guess so.
It's deliberately exclusionary to people not in your group.
Yeah.
You know, so it gives you your own identity.
Yeah.
To have your own shit, and everyone has that, right? Everyone has their own little stupid in jokes or
Well, we used to work with a guy overnight, and nobody liked him. He was an older guy, and anytime you spoke to him, he would just constantly talk about how he was trying to get like tax exemptions for stuff that he bought like throughout the year. We used to work nights with him, but he was a French Canadian. He was a French Canadian man, and his name was Jean-Guy as well. So you can imagine the Jean-Guy Tupperwares were like soaring at that point. You're like, anytime he wasn't around, it'd be like, oh fuck, he's just fucking going on fucking Tupperware again, going on about the tax exemptions and everything. Like it was.
He's probably. I bet you he was like. He was like ground floor Bitcoin and stuff like that. You know what I mean? He's probably like living in a fucking beach mansion.
He was pretty old at the time, and I was like, you know,
he's dead.
17, 18 years old. Yeah, he's long gone. He's got to be. I think a lot of those guys that I used to work with. Well, I know my manager from back then passed away years ago, and I'd imagine most of the other ones did too. It's pretty rough working overnight, especially for like a long period of time, which those guys did. I mean, I was just there for like, you know, a couple of months, and I hated it. But those guys were like lifers. That's what they were there years, you know, working 10:30 at night till 7 a.m. for. That's
what kills them. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it finishes people off a little bit early. Yeah, it's hard.
I was saying the other day, someone my age was visiting their grandparents and going out for the day with them, and I was like, my granddad, my dad's dad, died in 1953.
Jesus Christ!
It's like a long time ago, and I'm sure a lot of people have had opportunities to have their grandparents, you know, pass away.
But it's both my mum's parents died multiple, like I think in the 60s. So I never got the chance. Yeah, I never got the chance to meet them.
So you've had no grandparents your whole life?
Well, no, because my dad also had parents.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said both of your
No,
parents.
Sorry. My mum's. So yeah, both her parents died in the 60s of cancer. I think breast cancer and smoking. So lung cancer was what did them in. Then my grandmother on my dad's side, I loved her. Like I was very close with her. And we lived with her and her son, my uncle, when we moved back to the UK, when my parents got divorced. So I was very, very close with her. But my grandfather, my Canadian grandfather, who lived in Ottawa, he was just a very intimidating guy.
What was his name?
Don.
Tupperware? He was from Ottawa as well.
His name was Don Tupperware.
No, but it's what a name. It's a strong name.
But he was like he was a Air Force pilot in the Canadian Air Force, you know, and he was like it was quite a conservative fella, like one of those sort of old school conservative dudes. And just a big guy, deep booming voice, sort of big presence. And I was incredibly intimidated by him.
Man, conservatism has changed a lot, hasn't it?
It has.
When you look back to like, because I know my grandparents were too. They were like what I would consider very conservative people. You know, they would go to church on a Sunday, but they weren't crazy with it. You know what I mean? Like they would do certain things, and they had these certain levels of decorum that they would adhere to or whatever. But they were like they were kind of like proper people, you know, like they were clean. They didn't do anything like well, as far as I know, illegal. You know, they just seemed like pretty normal middle class people.
Yeah.
That like I would define that as like really conservative people, but it's changed. It feels like it's changed an awful lot.
I think back to the past, conservatism, like the conservative people that I knew, just were basically, like you said, they were probably church going. They'd lived in the same area for a very long time, and they just sort of wanted everything to stay the same. Like that's the whole point, is that they wanted the same traditions. They liked the Queen, and they supported, you know, whatever the armed forces were doing. They were like, those are our boys. You know, it's all this kind of traditional things, very patriotic. Watched things like Last Night at the Proms or whatever. You know, just the kind of staples of tradition that I associate with conservatism. Whereas now it just seems to be hate, which is kind of,
it really does.
Nuts.
Yeah,
it's like really hate. And most of that is just fear, I think.
Mostly ill-informed hate as well.
Yeah, a lot of hate.
Yeah, just tons of hate.
Very strange. So because you obviously both have kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who will carry on your line.
Well, I don't have a line.
Yeah,
but I was reading.
Mine are going to carry on my line for sure.
No line.
I can highly recommend the Agatha Christie short stories, right? And it's obviously a staple, a kind of a meme that people only ever talk about a will in a murder mystery. Right? That's the only time you really ever hear about these things.
But you know why that is, right?
Well, it's because that's a good motive.
No,
right?
No, it's not just that. It's because a lot of people can relate to having older relatives that they wish were dead.
Right.
So that they can just get their will and never have to fucking see them again. That is the truth of it. There's a lot of people have some wealthy older relative who's just an absolute cunt to everybody. And you think, when that fucking guy pops his clogs, at least we'll get maybe something nice in the will. That's what I reckon it is. A lot of people
love that
like,
term, pops his clogs. He's going to pop his little clogs. that little hero's clogs are just going to, he's going to pop them.
Pop the clogs.
He's out.
It does imply that when you die, you fall over and your clogs just pop off your feet. Like when you shit yourself when you die, your clogs pop off.
Yeah. You shit in the clogs. Okay, so you have brothers and sisters, right? Maybe your siblings. Okay.
Me?
Yes.
I have three sisters and a brother.
I have a sibling,
and they have children, usually. Right?
So I have two half-sisters that I haven't spoken to in a very long time. I have a half-brother who I speak to occasionally, and he has one child. My sister doesn't have any kids. She has cats instead.
So kids of your siblings, or I guess your half-siblings, are still your nieces and nephews, right?
Oh, yeah.
They don't count as like half-niece or half-nephew?
Right.
They're still just blood relatives, right?
Yeah.
Effectively.
Yeah.
I mean, it's essentially, I think that the whole half-brother, half-sister thing, I don't like that. I call them my brothers and sisters, and I wish I saw them more and have more contact, because I don't have any fucking family. Like, it's just zero, basically. So I've always wanted to have a big family, but it's just hard because various personal family things. But I would like to.
Luce, I feel like you're heading towards bailiffs here with there's TV shows about it, right, where it's like we couldn't find a next of kin or any relations or whatever, and we had to really dig through the crates to find this long lost half uncle or whatever.
Well,
we've given your fortune to.
They have to. It's quite simple. You go up the chart and then go back down, right? So you go up to your grandparents and then you go to their brothers and sisters, right? And so it's like your grandparents, so your granduncles or your grandaunts, you look at those, the children of those who are of your parents' generation, right? And do you know what they are? They're your first cousin once removed, I think.
What is the removed thing?
So the removed thing is
what does that mean, once removed?
Because I've always heard that, and I'm like, I don't know what it means. I genuinely don't know what it means to be.
Is that like
removed.
your like? Would that be like your mom's cousin? So that's like your cousin, but not. It's not really your cousin.
There is a chart. Here's a chart for you. So you can have a look. So your generation is what's important. So of your age, they're not actually necessarily your age, because people might have got married young or got married very old and had a kid old or young, and as a result things get skewed. Like sometimes people will say, oh, this is my uncle, and they're the same age of them, right? But they're actually from a different generation. So it's to do with generations, and your generation is your first cousins are from your grandparents, your second cousins are from your great grandparents, your third cousins are from your great grandparents. You see what I mean? But then anyone who is up or down in that line isn't necessarily your uncle.
You've lost me.
They are removed.
I'm so gone.
You lost me very early on.
Yeah, me too.
I lost you immediately.
I'd say 4 or 5 words into the opening sentence, I was flummoxed.
Well, it's better to just look at a chart. Look at a cousin chart. You'll find it on the internet. But basically, you're removed. So, the easiest way to see it is you've got your uncle, right, or your aunt. They've got children who are your cousins.
Right.
Their children are your first cousins once removed.
Why don't we just make them second cousins?
Well, the second cousins are from they're the children of your great uncle.
What's a great uncle? So
that's your grandparents' brothers and sisters.
Grandparents' brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
So those are second.
Yeah. So your mom's uncle is your great uncle, for example.
Yes. He died last year, actually. Sadly.
Yeah.
Yeah, our great uncles now will be mostly gone. I would say,
but your great uncle's children are not your second cousins, because they're effectively a generation above you, so they are first cousin once removed.
I see.
And then I think it's how many steps they are to being a cousin. I think.
I see.
Oh god, it's confusing. Anyway, you can have people.
Do you guys want to be cousins? We could just say we're cousins. How about that?
I think we would need to sign something.
Brothers? Sisters? Do we want to be sisters?
You can, unofficially, you can be whatever you want. Like, we could just call, each other whatever.
How about we three form a group called the Lords of Chaos? And we just do that.
We're three chaotic brothers.
We'll go to
three
the registry
wild
office.
Chaotic brothers with wild and crazy guys.
Another bang up to date reference for the Triforce podcast.
How do we do this? Make this official? Do we go for registry office? Change our names?
Hello, we'd like to form the Lords of Chaos, please.
Man, we should have called we shouldn't have called it the Triforce podcast. Maybe it's a rebrand. It's been going on for so long. It's time. Let's rebrand to 3 wild and crazy guys. That would be so good, no? 3 wild and crazy guys. We could have a cool intro, and we say crazy
like
stuff
a
all the time.
Seinfeldy, binkety bompety. Yeah.
Binkety bompety. Slow down, mate. We don't want to go too crazy.
Some bass lines. You're talking about bass lines here, I think. You want bass?
I want one of them.
I do this I don't know if you guys do anything like this, but I do my kids. They're getting bigger now, so they roll their eyes, but they used to love it. But I used to do air bass, in the kitchen. But I would do it was like a mix of air bass, but then like Elaine's dancing from Seinfeld. Lots of leg kicks and stuff like that. Man. Oh man! So now every time my kids do anything music related, like at school or whatever, the joke is my wife always makes a joke. She's like, ask them if they're looking for a bass player. Your dad needs some work.
Oh man! You know what? Those family jokes, those sort of in jokes you have as a family, are the best ones, man.
They are the best ones. I know, they're so funny.
Because it's just for you guys, right? It's this joke is just for us.
Yeah,
and we have to
the radio will be on, and there'll be something with some bass, and everybody will be like, "Oh no, turn the radio off quick!" I'll be in another room. I'll come rushing in. Fuck. That's good. Man. That shit's I live for that stuff. That's the best shit. That is the best shit. It's so fun. Anyway.
I mean, honestly, the person, I'd say, me and Mrs. F, we've been together for so long now. The number of in jokes and shit is just insane.
Yeah,
genuinely insane. The amount of things references we've got that are fucking things that happened in the previous century we still joke about. It's just so dumb, but That's the real shit. Like, it's the same with my friends that I've known for. So some of my friends I've known for longer than I've been with Mrs. F. And the jokes and references and the sort of callbacks are like you think about a comedian has a callback in their set and it's like half an hour. We're talking 35-year callbacks here. You know, we're referencing the deep cuts of our friendship, and I love that. I think that's the absolute best. We've been doing this a long fucking time, nearly 10 years.
Well, we got lots
Next year is our 10th year. We have a lot of
references and in jokes and stuff that come back and whatnot. It's good. It's been good. I like the long game with stuff like this. You know,
it feels
because like I was saying before, you just everybody knows like what's up, like precisely. You know, everybody knows what everybody else is doing or meant to be doing and stuff, and it works. You know, it's like building a factory and then it working really well, like over a long period of time. It's nice.
You and your factories. Loves a factory.
It's familiar.
I love a factory. Yeah,
it's cozy.
Oh, guess what? So it was my eldest turned 16.
Wow, already? That's crazy.
I know. Jeez. Which means that my eldest was 7 when we started this podcast, which is pretty wild.
Wow.
So yeah, he's 16 and I was like, what do you want for your birthday? A guitar. I was like, awesome. So we went to a 16, guitar shop.
That's a great age for learning guitar.
Perfect.
Honestly, perfect. Right? Yeah.
Because you've got the finger strength and everything. Guitar is quite, at least a lot of finger strength and dexterity and stuff. So I was like, all right, so there's a guitar shop in Kingston, which is not far from us. It's one of the very few music shops that is like actually a physical shop you walk into and there's instruments hanging on the wall. And this place just does guitars. And we went in there and there was a lad there. Sorry, hold on a sec.
This is what 10 years of it does to you.
Sorry. So we went in there and I said, looking to buy first guitar for my 16-year-old. What do you recommend? And we were going in with the idea of getting an acoustic guitar. Because we were like, well, that might be easier to learn on, right? It's less delicious to learn to play the guitar. And he was like, okay, what kind of music do you like? And we were both like, we like rock and stuff like that. And he was like, well, then get an electric guitar. And I was like, is he trying to upsell me? And he said, well, look, if you get an acoustic guitar, you'll only be able to play acoustic songs. And if you don't like acoustic folky stuff, you're going to be stuck playing music that you don't even listen to just for the sake of learning to play the guitar. He said, if you get an electric guitar, which sounds like you listen to music that has electric guitar in it, you'll be much more motivated to play. And I was like, that sounds great. The great idea. Sold me an electric guitar. It was £110 for a brand new guitar. It was a really beautiful guitar.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
But then, of course, we needed to buy an amp. And the amp was the expensive part because he sold me a PV, that's the brand, an American-made amp, this old-fashioned style. It was like, I can't remember what's in it. But he said this thing will likely increase in value because they don't make these anymore. I was like, perfect. So yeah, we've got the guitar, got the amp. Then I was like, we're going to need a strap as well. We're going to need a bag. We're going to need a stand.
Cord.
So, but I was like,
you need a distortion pedal.
Right.
You can get effects pedals. Oh, right.
Didn't get any pedals. But I mean, I want to fuck around with this electric guitar as well because it's just cool. So I thought this was one of the favorite presents I've ever bought anyone.
That's cool.
It felt great. And there was this old boy in there, and he said, he goes, "Oh, well, I was here to see you buy your first guitar." And my eldest was kind of embarrassed. He goes, "I brought my first guitar 60 years ago." So
wow.
he's like old as fuck, and he's seeing this 16-year-old buy their first guitar, and I thought that's the kind of circle of life that musicians love.
Can I make one suggestion? I would say get an acoustic as well, because you're not always going to want to plug in an electric guitar and play. Like you will, but there'll be times where just having an acoustic to play, like, an acoustic song or a slower song,
right? But
you're still practicing, right? Like you can still apply it all back to the electric guitar and stuff like that. I think it's worth having both. I'm just saying. And also, if your eldest forms a band and they need a bass player, air bass player, I'm available. So throwing that out there as well.
Yeah, you could shred on that air bass.
Yeah. Yep.
So
ready.
If they keep it up, great. If they don't, that's just what it's like. Sometimes I'm like this with stuff, but fortunately, £100 is not a great bar. Incredibly, it's not like it's not like a huge investment, is it? Really,
right.
It's obviously expensive, but really,
it's expensive, but it's not like breaking the bank, right? Like
a friend of mine bought a new violin, or not a new violin, a violin to take with them to LARP and stuff because they didn't want to take their actually expensive one with them, but they bought this violin and were kind of shocked that they could get one for like £100. Obviously Chinese made, and he can hear the difference, but I don't know if a lot of people can. And honestly, a lot of the expensive brands are just made in China anyway. And I mean, it is astonishing that you can get musical instruments that cheap, really, given that like even they come with a big case, and the case probably would cost like 30 quid,
like used ones, like secondhand instruments and stuff are surprisingly affordable, like if they're not like the amp, the one that'll go up.
Well, I think they've been made abroad for a long time.
Yeah, you can get like knockoff Fenders and stuff like that.
But the old advice to buy the cheapest thing, use it till it breaks, and then if you find that you've used it that much that it has broken, then you buy the most expensive one. I think it's a real good attitude to have on tools and things like this anyway. So no, I hope they enjoy it and get a kick out of it. P-Flex, you might have to invest in some. At least it's not drums. For
we're getting lessons.
Oh my god,
we're going to get lessons.
Drum lessons.
Okay.
No, guitar lessons, because
that's like have lessons as well.
Part.
I think guitar lessons are worth it to get you started for sure. Like,
what are you going to play?
You want the basics.
I'm not. I have arthritic fingers, so I can't really.
You could do like harmonica. You got good lips.
Triangle.
Oh, thank you.
Very kissable lips.
Oh. What about the triangle? You could do the triangle.
Triangle.
That maracas would be on brand with the Triforce. Me playing the triangle. Maracas or castanets.
You could do the piccolo. What about the slide whistle? You could.
We got to work it into every song. We've got a guitar solo here, drum solo there, bass solo. The vocalist going to shred. Oh yeah, yes, Ted. When's the slide whistle going to be in this song? We'll put it at the end.
You just wait for the end.
Really dramatic.
I love the idea that you're stood there throughout the whole band practice, just waiting
not
to
in
do
my
your
head,
little
not in my
bit
head,
at the end.
Then really dramatic. The singer's like on his knees. Yeah.
you just walk on stage for your
and the
your
crowd
finale.
screaming.
Everyone's throwing glasses.
We love
at
you.
me.
Period.
Oh man. Oh man. I had guitar lessons when I was younger. I remember getting my first guitar and stuff. It was fun times. It just felt like it was one of those moments when you're a teenager where you get something you feel like I can do so much now. And of course I didn't do much with it, but there was it was that side of it was appealing. I thought, oh man, I'll be able to write songs, or I'll be able to play all these great songs that I like and stuff. And I learned a bunch of songs, and it was good fun. I am
immensely jealous of people with physical skills. Whether it's juggling or doing a handstand or being able to play an instrument. Like I'm always, I could see why. When sometimes there will be a thing and someone will just play something on the piano or something, and I'll just be like, oh my god, I'm so jealous. This person is. I'm just like so just like hearts in my eyes. I'm just like, I love you now. I think it's just such a powerful thing in days of everything being digital, right? And almost like a lot of cheats is like, well, why would you need to learn to play an instrument when you can just have an AI do it? It's not the same, you know. It's going back to the real world. When I miss it. I really wish I'd done. I hated doing music at school. My parents forced me to play the piano and stuff. But
piano, I would have liked to learn. Now that I'm older and I look back, I think, oh man, it'd be great to be able to play the piano well. I feel like it would just be wonderful to just be able to sit down and just play a great song on the piano. And I just a solo pianist to me just is great. I could sit around and listen to somebody playing the piano like forever. And I wish I could do it as well, but I'm too lazy to learn the piano. But when I was at school, like elementary school, primary school, I learned the trumpet and the clarinet. Can you believe that?
I could see you play the trumpet.
Man,
so good.
I was playing the trumpet so much. You had to like rent your instrument and stuff. Oh, it was great.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I hated it at the time, but like I look back now and I'm like, oh man.
Do you remember emptying the spit valve? Oh, what a time.
Yeah,
what a time.
Stunk so bad. Oh my God, the smell from the spit valve.
Oh, fuck me.
Yeah.
So when I did music at school, there was no instrument. Like we just learned theory. So we'd be in there and we'd just be listening to music or learning about notes and stuff. But I didn't play a single instrument at school. Not one.
You didn't have the ta ti ti ta ta, like when they were like you like the counting. They're like, and you go ta ti ti ta ta ti 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 ti. That's how they used to teach us. You had like this timing stuff and everything.
No,
it was
totally not. I would have loved that. But
we used to run around at recess outside going ta ti ti ta ta, like screaming it at each other. It was really good.
No, I don't know why we didn't have any instruments. It was just I think if you had one, there always seemed to be lads who were doing music much more seriously, and they would have some extra music lesson thing, like at lunchtimes or after school or whatever, and they'd have instruments. But the school didn't like, here, you're going to learn to play the trumpet for, so I had nothing, which was shit.
We had when I went to school, they had like a local place that you rented the instrument from. So you had to know what you wanted to play early on, because things would just disappear and then you'd be stuck with like, something you didn't want or whatever.
Right.
But everybody went to the same place. They all had the same cases. And then in the music room at school, you could leave your instrument there because you had like 2 or 3 music lessons a week. So instead of taking it home all the time, you could leave it there. And that room, when you went into it to get your instrument, smelt like the spit valve of a million instruments. Like it really stunk in there bad.
Some of the rooms at school, I remember those. Some of the rooms were just so smelly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a boys' school, but you went in there and you thought, has anyone even been in here at this decade? It's just got that musty
we had assholes
room
at our school. We had those movable ceiling tiles, and people would throw sandwiches up there and stuff.
Yeah.
So like every class just stunk of mold and shit. And we had they did in the 80s. It was very popular to use a school that was far too small for the school population, but instead of expanding the school, they would use those portables, the outside portables.
Yep.
When I was in elementary school, I'm not even kidding, we had like 50 of those outside portables. Like all my classes were in those outside portables. Dude,
it's still happening.
Yeah, and all it would take is for one person to be sick in one of those, and that portable would be cursed forever. You could never get the smell of sick out of them. Like, I don't know what it was, but like in the summer, they were just like little sweat boxes. In the winter, they were always cold. Like, oh
ice
man,
boxes,
it's the worst.
It was bad. It was bad. The weirdest room in my school, looking back, was the armory.
The armory?
The armory. We had an armory,
nice.
Like as in guns.
No way.
Have you been playing Blueprints?
What's that?
It's the game that we were talking about at the very start of the podcast.
Well, yeah.
It's basically you have to build a house, and this house has some really fucking weird rooms in it, because they had to make up like 60 or 70 rooms, right? And so some of them are a bit odd. Blueprints.
Blueprints.
Like blueprints.
It's the play on words, but it's actually called Blue.
I feel like if I mention it to you enough, P-Flax, you'll get into it.
Blueprints. All right, Welcome to Mount Holly, where every dawn unveils a new mystery. Navigate through shifting corridors and ever-changing chambers in this genre-defying strategy.
This is not the advert. The advert is different.
What do you mean the advert?
There is you're reading it like it's an advert.
Oh, sorry, no, I'm just reading the copy on Steam. I'll add it to my wish list.
You should.
It's really good. I think you'd like it.
I'll gift you a copy.
I think you'd like it, Flax.
Okay.
It's weird. It's weird. It's a bit like Father Ted, like the recommendation doesn't do it justice. You got to play it to really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's true. If you told people Father Ted is about 3 priests on a tiny island, in Ireland,
and that it was funny, you'd be like, okay, that does not sound funny at all.
Sounds pretty dry, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah. It's a good one.
It's a blast. But sorry, that has like an armory and stuff.
Oh,
so you had an armory in your school.
Yeah.
I think we probably did as well, because we had the cadet force.
Exactly. So that was what we had. And it had a bunch of rifles in there and ammunition. And it wasn't like only teachers could go there. They had the keys, but then some of the senior pupils who were in the CCF could also get access to the armory. And I'm thinking nowadays that probably wouldn't happen. But we had guns on the school premises, not just a couple, but like a lot of guns.
Yeah, there was like
Lee
20
Enfields. We had some
wow.
SA-80s. We had a Bren gun. It's pretty wild. But they were, because I guess the whole point was that we've spoken about the CCF before, of course, but the cadet force was like a recruitment tool for the military, because it's like, this was a boys' school, quite a conservative school. We'll get them into the military good and young, because,
did they teach you to hate?
Serve in the military.
Did they teach?
No, we didn't do the war face lessons. Let me see your war face. That's a war face. No, we didn't have that. It was just like simple military stuff, like one time we did a signals thing where we had to go to a park in Bournemouth and set up a big antenna, and we camped near there. And then for the rest of for 48 hours, we had to get in radio contact with other bases around the UK. And we had to exchange coded information with them, that they would give us their code, we'd give them our code. And the idea was whichever troop gets the most of the codes from the other bases wins the sort of national CCF tournament for communication for signals, which was a lot of fun. So you were up all night and in shifts, getting on the radio and trying to figure out how to get in contact with the guys up in Scotland or the lads over in Derbyshire or wherever, get their code. We had to learn like the alphabet, how you say numbers on the military radio. You don't say 5, you say fife. You don't say 9, you say niner, stuff like that.
Niner.
So that was fun.
You don't say 5, you say fife? I've never heard that one.
Yeah, it's like you enunciate them like 1, 2, 3, 4, fife, 6, 7, 8, niner, because fife.
Would they do that?
Five sounds too much.
Is that like? Would they
else.
do that on like a truck? Like, would truckers do that too, or is that just military?
No, I don't think so. Because
little ducky, this is Fife Niner, 69er coming in hot.
69er. This is little ducky here.
This is Jean-Guy Tupperware reporting
in. We need some Tupperware, Mr. Jean-Guy. But yeah, so it was fun. I mean, the CCF, I did enjoy it. Sometimes it was shit, but some of the older lads were just absolute twats.
Yeah, I'm sure some of the guys from my school ended up going into the officer training college or whatever straight out of
I know
school,
a few that did,
because they were big into it. It did have an effect. And it was fun. Like, it was strange who joined it, but again, it was the same. Like, school was a little bit like that. You got a choice of doing. You could learn instruments, join the chess club. You could hang out with the nerds in the computer room. I kind of did a bit of everything. Actually.
I wish I'd done more at school. In all honesty, looking back now, I just fucking hated it so much.
I was like the biggest slacker. Like, I didn't do anything at school.
Yeah, I did nothing. There were loads of, I mean, I will say this, though. It's not like there were that many opportunities, because the school was just shit.
Yeah.
Like, I went to Bournemouth School. Apparently now it's better. But there was just nothing. Like, it was just really rotten. Everything was falling apart. All the labs were really shit. We had, like, shit computers, the library, everything, and it was so old and musty. It just felt, like, underfunded and lacking in care. And a lot of the teachers were just completely mentally checked out, or should have been.
Yeah.
And they were just useless. And looking back now, it was a really shitty time and a real waste of a lot of potential.
Well, you turned out all right.
No, I didn't. Look, what do I do for a living? I don't even have a job. I don't have a job.
We've got jobless, bald, Dota
here it is.
addicted.
The baldness comes out.
Maybe if your brain had been more nourished when you were younger, all your hair might have not popped out. We got a person
maybe if
who
yours
left
had
Canada
been more nourished, you wouldn't be
bad.
such a cunt.
And me having an identity crisis. It's a disaster, three of us. But thank God we've got each other.
Hell yeah.
The
Lords of Chaos.
We've got you, the listener. Thank you for
three wild
joining
and
us,
crazy
everyone.
guys.
The Lords of Chaos will return next week.
That's a crazy guy. I love that.
Until then,
yeah.
Goodbye.
Adieu.
Bye.